Welcome back to the Roberta Show, self-empowerment with the affirmation architect, Roberta Tab. This is where we design the mindset that shapes the life you truly want, intentionally, powerfully, and on your terms. A space for real conversations, real growth, and real transformation. I'm your host, Roberta Tab, and today, we're talking about something that quietly keeps so many people disconnected from the life they actually want. The patterns keeping you in place, not the obvious ones, not the dramatic ones, the subtle cycles, the overthinking, the hesitation and the waiting for the right time, the constantly starting and stopping, and the talking yourself out of the very thing you know you need to do. And what makes these patterns dangerous is that they don't always look destructive. Sometimes they even look responsible. You tell yourself, I'm just thinking it through. I need more clarity first. I'll start when things settle down. Or maybe next month. But if we're honest, sometimes that's not preparation. Sometimes it's fear wearing a productive outfit. And I think a lot of people live inside these cycles for years without even realizing it. Not because they're incapable, but because these patterns become familiar. And familiar patterns feel safe even when they're keeping you disconnected from growth. I want you to really think about this. How many times have you delayed your own life waiting to feel fully ready? How many opportunities, ideas, conversations, or changes have you overthought to the point of exhaustion? How many times have you convinced yourself to stay where you are because uncertainty felt uncomfortable? That's the cycle. Overthinking creates hesitation. Hesitation creates inaction. Inaction creates frustration. And frustration creates the belief that you're stuck. But you're not stuck. You're repeating patterns that keep you emotionally and mentally in the same place, and patterns only change when you become aware of them honestly. That's why this episode matters. Because I don't want you to just feel inspired. I want you to see yourself clearly. A lot of people think transformation starts with motivation. It doesn't. Transformation starts with awareness. The moment you realize, I've been waiting for confidence before taking action. I've been letting fear make my decisions. Or I've been asking for clarity while avoiding movement. That awareness changes everything because now you can interrupt the cycle. And I think one of the biggest patterns people stay trapped in is waiting for the right time. But the truth is, there will always be a reason to wait. You'll always have responsibilities. You'll always have fears. You'll always have uncertainty. The right time usually does not arrive first. Decision does. Movement does. Alignment does. And honestly, sometimes overthinking is just a way of avoiding the discomfort of action. Because action is vulnerable. Action means you could fail. You could be seen. You could outgrow your current life. You could actually change. And that scares people more than staying the same sometimes. But staying in the same emotional cycle year after year costs you too. It costs confidence. It costs self-trust. It costs momentum. And eventually it creates exhaustion because deep down, you know you're meant to move differently. I also think hesitation often comes from not trusting yourself. You don't trust your decisions. You don't trust your voice. You don't trust that you'll handle what comes next. So instead of moving imperfectly, you stay frozen, trying to guarantee an outcome that life can never fully guarantee. But growth does not come from certainty. It comes from movement, small movement, honest movement, aligned movement. And I want you to hear this clearly. You do not need to become fearless before you move forward. You just need to stop letting fear lead your life. There's a difference. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It's choosing movement anyway. And maybe this season of your life is less about becoming a completely different person. and more about finally breaking the patterns that have been keeping you disconnected from yourself. Because once you see the cycle clearly, you can stop living inside of it. Welcome to your affirmation work. Take a deep breath and repeat these affirmations slowly, like you actually mean them. I release the patterns that no longer serve my growth. I do not need to have everything figured out to move forward. I trust myself enough to take aligned action. I no longer wait for the perfect moment to begin. I am capable of making decisions that support my future. Overthinking does not protect me, it delays me. I am breaking cycles that once kept me small. I choose progress over hesitation. I am no longer standing still in my own life. I am ready to move differently. Repeat this work as often as needed. Now let's check in with our alignment. Ask yourself, what pattern have I been repeating that's keeping me disconnected from growth? Clock that and know that awareness is the first step to breaking the cycle. Now here's the work. This week, do one thing you've been overthinking instead of avoiding it. Even if it's small, and especially if it's uncomfortable. All my growth has happened in uncomfortable spaces. Thank you for being here for another episode of The Roberta Show. And remember, you are not waiting for your life to change. You are learning how to stop standing in the way of it. I'll talk to you in the next episode.